This is where I spent my billions of coins for Slayers. And at the end of the video, I'll share with you guys if it's worth it or not. Also subscribe because, you know, code Echo seems to be pretty chill. Welcome back on How to Be a Slayer Non episode 2. Of course, we'll be talking about God Roll Crimson and equipment and see if it's worth it, the damage capabilities of it, and a trick to upgrade it yourself too. Let's review our gear. Since we have max attributes on our God Roll Crimson, each attribute totaling around 320 million coins for a max 10 tier attribute, our total amount of money spent just on attributes alone is about 2.56 billion coins. Of course, not considering the base stars on the fiery and burning tier of the crimson armor itself, which can become a 3 billion set just for outside of dungeons, making it by far the most expensive there is. But that's not all. Since it is a god roll armor itself, it does cost a pretty hefty change. Helmet at base tier on our current auction house is about 269 million coins. Crimson chestplate costing around 347 million coins. Crimson leggings 340, and lastly crimson boots reaching a whopping 330 million coins. And if you total all of that together, it's gonna be coming out to 1,286 coins. And combining with our tier 10 attribute, and our armor will cost around 4.286 billion coins. And also let's subtract 80 coins since I do not have veteran 9 on our boots, making it maybe 4.2 billion coins, and that is our crimson armor just alone, right? And now moving on to equipment. Sadly, we only have a 3/4 molten, magic find, and veteran attribute equipment. The only reason why we have 3 god roll equipments is because the rift is around the corner, coming in 3 to 4 business days, which has a beautiful necklace called the Rift necklace, actually giving it 6 magic find alone, which is probably going to be the best while you're going to be using it for Slayers, because of course magic find equals more RNG. The cheapest equipment there is for veteran and magic find in the auction house currently is about 140 million coins for the molten bracelet. The cloak costing around 144, and lastly a 200 million coins just for our molten belt alone. And I was able to upgrade it to magic find 5 because by far the equipment itself is the most expensive attributes to just upgrade alone, because it's either you have to buy either the equipment or you buy the attribute shards, and both don't really always correlate to each other because one is so high in price and one is so low in price, you know what I'm saying? Now let's get into our damage. For our damage test, we're going to be using a full crimson set, right? Like we mentioned earlier, renowned fiery crimson helmet, fiery crimson chestplate, and of course burning crimson leggings and burning crimson boots, right? Because I'm not ready for Kudra yet. I want to get Blaze 9 as soon as possible. Then we'll get into Kudra to maximize my tiers of our crimson armor. So for our magic power, the main one we're going to be using, of course, is on Hurtful, because Hurtful for me, I feel like it's more beneficial because I'll be using it a lot more. And of course, we're going to tune everything into crit damage so we can try to average out our strength and crit damage. As well as our pet, we're going to be using this beautiful golden dragon level 200 with 1 billion coins in the bank. And of course, our weapon of choice, the Withered Dark Claymore, which has Chimera 5 on it, which is a badass enchantment. And of course, sooner or later, we're going to try see how much damage we can use with a Legion 5 Warden on Ancient. The mob of choice we're going to be using is for zombies. You know, you have to test damage out on zombies. Other than that, you're doing it wrong. So the first swipe that we're going to be getting is, of course, 1.3 million damage, another 1.38, 1.38, and 1.38, which is a beautiful, beautiful number. If you guys did not know, the Crimson Armor does have an additional ability, which is called Dominus, right? At 10 stacks, also swipe in a random direction, hitting everybody in the path it swipes. If you guys did not know, the swipe ability is very, very OP. 1.3 plus 3.7 million damage. In total, with the Dominus ability swipe, we're going to be dealing 4 million damage per hit. 4 million damage per hit, bro. Don't forget the Warden's helmet, right? For the basic hit we're going to be getting with the Warden's helmet, we're going to be doing a 1.5 million damage, right? Plus our swipe 5 million damage. We're doing 6.5 million damage alone just with our crimson armor, which I'm telling you, bro, everybody who doesn't have a crimson armor should get a crimson armor because you guys will deal so much damage. This makes melee really, really OP in terms of anything, to be honest. Now, a question maybe you might be wondering, right, or not, whatever. Crimson armor worth it? In reality, yes, it is 100% worth it. It's a unique armor that actually does help in terms of DPS because of its ability, right? Get 10 stacks, you can swipe and deal a lot of more damage. Another thing you could also do is try to combine armors as well as different armor sets, right? For example, you could change the helmet to use either a tarantula or warden's helmet, right? Or for the boots, you can change it to a Necron's boots and try to deal as much damage while having the effect of the dominance ability. Now, another question people might be wondering, is God Rule Crimson really that worth it at the end of the day? For me personally, I feel like if you do not have the best in slot armor, weapons, gear, I feel like it is not going to be worth your money, because with 2 billion coins, you could probably purchase different types of things. For example, Golden Dragon, a Claymore, right? To deal as much DPS. For me personally, I felt like I could have not bought it because it's like I could probably put a lot of more money into my Blaze Slayer, since Blaze Slayer is really expensive to get into. But once you achieved everything, for example, the best in slot armor, pets, gear, weapons, right, you could slowly upgrade your Crimson armor, and that will be worth it because you're going to be having the best in slot armor piece outside of dungeons. And then now I'm going to teach you guys the best method of actually upgrading your attributes for your Crimson, Aurora, Terror, whatever armored piece that you have from Kudra. We're going to be using Kudra Gang's bot, which is the most helpful bot that you can ever do anything related to Crimson Isles. For example, I am going to be trying to upgrade my Veteran 9 Crimson boots. And what I want to do is just basically, there's a whole lot of commands if you hover over to the Kudra Gang bot, right? There's add alert, add list, add /AP armor, right? So AP is the main one you want to focus on, right? I did not know that this was a feature until this month. Basically, you can choose different attributes to find, for example. So I just type vet 5 to give me the best options I can find, right? This is also a really cool flipping method that you guys could do also, because for example, Veteran, I know for the average Veteran 5 will cost about 10 million coins. And then I look at this, the Crimson helmet, right? So one guy is selling a Crimson helmet for 4 mil. I could probably buy it and flip it to 10 mil, right? That's at least a 6 million coin flip. But I am not focused on how I am going to be getting it because I just want to focus on my Crimson boots. And these are all of the Crimson boots that are available to me, right? For example, this Crimson boot is 10 million. All I want to do is copy this view auction because it gives you each auction, and then head over to your Minecraft, right? And then all you have to do is just type in the view auction and then purchase it once you do find it. And that's how I usually upgrade my armor piece. Now, for the PV of the video, if you guys want to get PV'd, make a comment like this: Ajin Wolfry. I don't know what to start grinding in terms of dungeons and how to improve my mage, right? Very simple, very neat. Skills don't matter, levels don't matter, right? Everything do not matter except for catacombs levels, right? Which, let's see, your dungeon level is 25. So your main goal right now as a level 25 is try to play as F6 as much as you can. Storm armor set is really good too, right? You're doing great, right? Honestly, if you're going to be doing full storm, might as well just put everything into sapphire gems as well. But in F6 is going to be very difficult for you guys to actually survive if you guys do not have a tank in your F6, which is honestly very important. As well, for mages, really strive with implosion belt as well as molten necklace, right? Because everything you use will go boom. So the main weapon you will be using is a heroic Midas staff. So honestly, for now, I really recommend you probably hold off of Midas staff in terms of F6, because the archer in F6 will do as much damage as possible, right? They're the main DPS person. You're there just for moral support. And I would recommend trying to make enough money. Do not sell this storm set, but actually buy a different set, such as the Necron armor, right? As well as get yourself a Juju bow, so you can actually playing a berserk healer, right? Or a tank clearing in dungeons. Or you can honestly flat out just go tank, right? Because you won't be dealing as much necessary DPS. You'll be blocking the archer's arrows if you continue to use the heroic Midas staff, right? And of course, in F7, just starting off as a mage will really get you shredded, because mage is very squishy. So a rule of thumb is try to get yourself either a tank set or a Necron set to deal DPS, right? And get yourself a Juju bow. For slayers, you probably have, let's see, Void Gloom, Sarah. You're level 3, right? You could probably ask your friends or try to buy yourself some comps to get yourself level 5. Once you get level 5, you can use the beautiful Juju bow to start grinding your archer, healer, tank, berserker, and get yourself a Juju bow, because that is very very important. As well as if you want to get into tanks, right, you could get any melee with at least Siphon with it, so you can always try to heal up, right? Or maybe your magical power is a bit low, right? Then again, for F6, I would recommend, right, you don't have to, but this is just by choice, is try to get yourself magical power up to maybe 500, but 450 is already really good for floor 6. All right, if you're going to be entering floor 7, make sure you have magical power of 600 if you're playing an archer berserker, right? Unless you become a Midas staff. Another rule to know that if your catacombs 28 is really good to start grinding into F7s, because once you do have a Hyperion, that's going to be your main weapon of choice, right? Always everybody, right, watching this, your main goal always, all right, is to get yourself a Hyperion to unlock different content and start grinding effectively in floor 7. For pets, you have this beautiful sheep pet, which is honestly really good. If you're honestly still having a lot of mana issues, continue using the sheep pet. But if you really do have really good mana or intelligence, right, I would recommend at least a speed pet to help you clear a little bit faster in terms of like black cat, ammonite pet, and of course the sheep pet won't go crazy, right? If you're going to be becoming an archer, right, of course is tiger pet, wither skeleton for F7s, and yeah, tiger or wither skeletons, or even a legendary griffin will really help you in terms of being a flex player. Other than that, you are on its way, right? Keep grinding. You're doing really good. Maybe you can get yourself some Revenant level 8 so you can start using the... Also, another thing you could do is probably grind Revenant Horrors to at least level 8 so you can get 50% health regen. Other than that, thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate you all. I'll see you guys in my next video.